Hey everyone, so here, wanted to make a quick video talking about patch 0.5.3 for PoE2, and specifically the expedition buffs, which are coming at a very exciting time for me personally. I just finished crafting a +4 spell amulet, and my staff is looking a little subpar. Playing SSF, I've been trying to pick up staves and uh, hopefully craft one long term as a long term project. I want a +7 staff. I currently have a +6 staff. And yeah, a lot that needs to go into that, but part of that is very heavily expedition based or remnant based specifically because I need some alloys. And so I was gearing up today to start doing some grand expeditions, as you're seeing in the background here. And I was listening to a video before then from Waggle, who said that the developers had said that they wanted to buff Expedition. And I thought, well, today's Thursday. It was like 5 ish my time. They normally patch on Thursday at 7 ish my time, so I waited, and lo and behold, they put out a patch note preview at like 6:30. So patch is coming at 7, and they're buffing Expedition. So I was very excited to wait for that to come out and jump right into testing. I had a short stream, ran a little over an hour right after the patch. You can go check out the VOD for that if you want to see some more live reactions, but for the most part, I'll relay them here, and they're amazing. Like, overall, I think the change is absolutely fantastic. I personally think I might be getting ever so slightly lucky in my experience with Expedition so far, but it's entirely possible that it is just as good as I've been experiencing it. First one I had in trade value, which again I'm not very familiar with. I basically never play trade. An 11 divine, or a selection between two different 11 divine alloys. I think they were. I think they were both alloys, and I was like, okay, like obviously that's pretty sizable money, right? High value item. One of them was, or they were both things that I could use for my build, but one in particular for my staff craft. So I was thinking, hey, there we go. Like, we're already getting the ball rolling here. And it really hasn't let up since then. Uh, I've done 8-ish Grand Expeditions since the patch dropped. Again, like 2 hours ago. And only one of them has been not amazing. And it was very normal. It wasn't like it was extremely bad or anything. Like, I got basically a lot of currency chests from it, and those are still very solid. Like, they've buffed those as well. I just didn't get anything ridiculous like an Alder Saga, as you can see me get in the video here, or other ridiculous like 7, 8 rune remnants that have been showing up quite a bit more frequently than I would have expected. Now, if you're not familiar with the patch and what it did, they essentially reworked all of the reward chests. The normal armor and weapon chests don't show up anymore. If you see one, that means it's going to be have like a gold tint to it, and it will guarantee an exceptional item of that type. So weapon or armor. Uh, I don't know if there's any like strong weighting one way or the other, or whether it's 50-50, whether you say a quality exceptional item versus a socket exceptional item. But my first one was pretty lackluster. It was a 21 quality scepter. So not too great there, but I like that it exists, and this exists as an avenue for, non rarity farming means to get exceptional items now. Again, you're also seeing more remnants than before the patch. So you have a higher chance of seeing high rune remnants, especially if you're running Jado for the chance to get a lucky roll on your remnants. And I don't know if they adjusted any of the rune shapes for the remnants. Like Alder Saga, I just got one in this map. I don't know how rare it was. Or obviously it was very rare before. It's like 40 something divines at the time that I checked. I suspect that will go down, both because they buffed Expedition and because people are going to do more Expedition because they buffed it. So even if the rate was the same, the value proposition of that would go down as well. And video's about to end here, I think, so I'm going to cut over. Going to be a little grainy here since this is straight from the stream, but more expedition, grand expeditions happening in the background here. And yeah, I don't know, the content just feels really good to me. The last thing that I haven't mentioned so far, they've done the chest changes, they've added more remnants, and they also, I think this is the last thing, but I might be missing a couple of smaller details. They improved the effect that the runes from the remnants have on subsequent enemies. So if you're not familiar, and you can see it when I hover over certain enemies a little bit here, when you activate a remnant in an expedition, it will pass on, I believe it's the circled rune, the one that is fixed in place. It'll pass on that remnant to the monsters following it in the chain, the detonation chain. So, if you crack open a bunch of remnants early on, you can get some really juiced enemies later on. So they're acting like monster modifiers in that way. In the patch preview video, Jonathan said they minimally doubled the effect that each rune has on monster loot, essentially. And some of them, they more than doubled. So my first expedition, it was literally the first one in the chain as well. I had an 8 rune remnant. It was so much loot. It's not like obviously my filter is not that of an extreme trade league juicer, but just comparatively to everything else, there was a lot of loot there. So thinking about it in that way, I think if you really did a bunch of smaller remnants on the way up to an 7, 8, or more rune remnant, you could hit some serious juice. And there are grand expeditions where you can pick up a lot of monster quantity and rarity, etc., as part of extra stuff in the map, extra interactables that you can detonate. So I think if you can pull that off, we might see some really juicy loot explosions. And time this fairly well, I think. In the background, you'll see me fighting nothing. But the problem is that nothing is fighting back. For some reason, in the last third or so of this expedition, I had a bunch of invisible enemies. So you can see there, the nothing just killed me. I can still hover over them and see them. And like, there's one that has burning ground, like a burning ground effect. And you can see it slowly marching towards me as I'm trying to leap around and dodge away. And I can't target them, I can't damage them, anything like that. I've had this happen once, which is the footage you're seeing right now. Haven't had it happen again afterwards. Might just be a rare bug, might be something that triggers it, but it was very unfortunate because that meant I had to leave essentially the last bit of my map here. So that was very unfortunate. But again, I've only seen it the one time. Something to keep an eye out for, though. And maybe don't be as dumb as I was and continue dying to it and losing all of your XP as you were almost to level 97. I lost like 22.5% XP or something because I forgot that combat omens can only activate once per zone. So that one's on me, I suppose. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to drag this video out for too long. I think it is worth checking out some expedition. It's coming at a very opportune time for me, having been wanting to do some expedition anyways. And yeah, I might put out a fuller video at some point going over either my loot or some tips and tricks on grain expeditions and logbook hunting, especially in SSF. It can be difficult to get those first few logbooks to get the ball rolling and sustain from there if you aren't exactly sure what to look out for or what to do in terms of that. But yeah, I am, if you can't tell, very excited about the expedition changes. I stayed up a little later to make this video. Hope you're as excited as I am. And I hope you get some great loot. Hope you get some Alder sagas and rare runes of your own, either to sell on trade or to craft some great items in SSF. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my raving about the new update. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.